everybody. I hope everyone having a wonderful day. If you hear a sound that sounds like someone peeing, I feel about it, but
It's the fish aquarium.
not
someone going to the bathroom.
I promise you. But anyway, today I have my dad, and we, mostly him, are going to be doing a video that meant for a equipment guidance for parents.
Equipment guidance for parents or people who
Or
have disabilities.
young adults or older adults who have a disability who might be looking for certain type of assessment equipment, and they are looking for advice. So if you want to sit around to that, go ahead, like it, comment down below some of your favorite equipment if you have any. I would love to know. And
Should I? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to run over the subscribe thing. Definitely subscribe. So I thought we'd tell them which pieces we're going to go through, just so they know. So we're going to talk about braces. AFOs, they call them. Shoes that wear out in the toes all the time. A stander that helps Anna stand up and get time on her feet. Walker.
And adaptive bike.
Oh yeah, adaptive bike. So that's what we're going to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dad has a disclaimer now.
Oh, disclaimer. I'll just do it now, but I'll say it from time to time as we're going through this. I'll say this, but I'm just speaking from the point of view of a dad. I know a little bit because I've talked to the doctors and we've been through all this for so many years with Anna. So I'll talk about some of the reasons why this equipment's good and what it does for you and things like that. But it's important that you always talk to your doctor or your physical therapist or your occupational therapist to make sure that the equipment's right for you, because not every piece of equipment's going to work the same for every person. So we'll give you information as from our perspective, and I'll try to let you know when there's a lot of variability and things with the equipment and the type of disability you might have. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and then after you're done watching this video, if you wanna see me use some of the equipment in my daily life, I will try and link some helpful video where I'm using the equipment down in the description. So make sure you check that out. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Alright, so the first thing is my AFO. You wanna take it out of
Yeah. So this is the braces that Anna has used for really since she's been little, and it's a 2-piece thing. So you put your foot into this little form, and they actually form fit these. So you go to the doctor and the therapist. Oh, what?
What is it called? Orthotic.
Orthotics. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like an orthotic form, and they take a mold of her foot, and then they make this thing to fit perfectly. So it's got some arch support, and it holds. I think the key is the brace. This fits into the brace. As you can see, it kind of slots down in there. And the key to this, I think the main benefit for this is, in addition to arch support, it also keeps her leg and her foot at a right angle, so like an L. And because the problem is she has dystonia and spasticity in her calf and foot, and so she'll tend to walk up on the ball of her foot all the time. And when you're always on the ball of your foot, the tendon, if I do it in yours or mine, this tendon back here will tend to get shorter and shorter because it's not getting stretched. Because it stretches in this position, but when you're like this, it shortens. So this is really meant to keep that leg and foot at a right angle, which keeps at least some level of stretch on the tendon. And so over time, it just keeps you from getting a short tendon, which can ultimately cause other problems.
And this is only one type of break. Some people, like I know Misty Diaz, who is an adaptive athlete here on social media, have one that only go to a so they don't know all
They don't go all the way up.
And I'll pop a picture either here or here. I don't know where they pop up. I'm a dumbo and then using YouTube for you. and I don't know, but somewhere on the scene will be a picture for you guys.
Yep. And these are oldies. These are her old ones. They got, they liberal use of duct tape, and as they wear out, we start just kind of patching them together, and they have little pads inside where we stuck things inside where they'd fall out, or and pretty soon you just got to get new ones. So this is her really old ones, but that's that. And then the shoes, they just fit right into your shoe. And
no,
what?
Some shoes, it has to be a certain shoe. Some shoes do not work.
Yeah, some shoes, especially like if you have the size shoe that might fit your foot, you usually have to go a little larger or a little wider or both, so that the brace will fit inside of it. And you can see this lovely hole here, Anna, because she tends to drag her foot. And so I think we've kept the Shoe Goo Corporation afloat over all these years. We've bought like 900 tubes of Shoe Goo.
And I'll put them and link them down below.
But Shoe Goo, I don't know what we would have done. If we didn't have Shoe Goo, we would have bought a new pair of shoes every week for the last 20 years, or maybe 17 years. So thank you, Shoe Goo, because it really saved our skin and not buying shoes constantly, because we don't let it get this bad. Usually we just keep putting the Shoe Goo on, and it keeps you from getting holes in the shoes. So that stuff's amazing. These are really old. So these are sitting in the closet.
Also they have, I know I'm going to name of the shoe brand for you by Halfback.
Halfback?
Half. With a half in an end.
Oh, Crackback?
Half. H-A-T-E-A.
Oh, Hatchback.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Halfback is an adapter to mine.
Isn't that like Hinged or something?
Yep.
Yeah, they have a little play in them, like a little movement.
But I certainly do not recommend the dirt that for my hair.
That's for younger kids,
Yeah. Matbo has an adapter mine.
Daffo?
Matbo.
How do you spell that one?
Two companies. Matbo. M-A-P-O.
Vapo?
Oh,
G. Z. Oh, Zappo. Yeah, Zappos. The shoe company?
Yep, they have an adapter mine, and one other Billy Who.
Billy?
Yep.
And these are Pumas. We found this out for whatever reason for Anna. These worked really well.
They're extra wide.
Oh, because they're wide. And this is like Puma. It's like a Soleil. I think it's Soleil V2 or something like that. And we've used only these. Like we buy them even off eBay and stuff, just because they really work well for Anna. So you'll find shoes that happen to work, happen to fit, and you can kind of stick with them.
So I will link on the shoe company down here if you want to check them out. And them too. Mr. Say you are not a fan of Puma. Alright, so the next one
we'll move on. Should we break? Do an edit?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll be back. Cool transition coming now. Alright.
Alright, so the next support we have here is made by Nimbo, provided by Nimbo, but before my dad talked about it, I wanted to talk about my $4 walker bag that was handmade for me. When I was in the 6th grade, everyone was making literally everything in their mother out of duct tape.
Duct tape? Oh, is that what this is? Duct tape? This is duct tape strip. That's so funny. Is it that old?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I had to have on the train too and make a walker bag out of duct tape, but this was a custom walker bag made for me on my middle school so I could help carry textbooks, and now in my young adult life, my purses and my best purses house always using my bag.
You're a purse donkey.
Yeah, I'm my family but human one. but it was custom made, but when now. So wheelchair bag also walker bag. I don't know any company that makes walker bags. So if you know a company that makes walker bags, leave it in the comments. I would love to know. Okay, that's all for my point. Walker.
Okay, we can show people how you get out of it, like
Yeah.
how you sit down,
Yeah.
and then I'll show you how the walker folds up and stuff.
Yep.
So this can kind of work. Imagine it in reverse, and she can get out of the couch into the walker. Just kind of being careful, and sometimes I'll put a hand on it just in case so it doesn't tip over.
They do it top heavy.
They can tip over if you're not careful.
Oh, Dad, you want to tell me about me?
Yeah. So, and this walker, Anna was saying, has these there's walkers where you don't have these extra arm things. You just hold the handles down here, and she has one of those too that she used to use a lot. But this one's got the forearm support, so you can kind of take a little weight off your feet, and you're able to stay really steady. And it's easier to control. My head's probably cut off. It's easier to control in terms of steering than the one where you're holding the handles. It takes a little more practice to maybe keep it straight. And this also has adjustable arm things, so you'll see this one's tilted in. We got one tilted in because Anna's wrist is naturally a little bit this way. And it's hard for her to reach out and grab it like this. It kind of hurts her wrist. So we tilt that one in for that right hand.
And they're operated by the knob.
Yeah, so there's a thing here you unscrew, and you could pull this out and then tilt it and put it back in. It's like an octagon, this shape, so you can do that. And then these handles, there's tons of adjustability. You can unscrew these, and if you like the handle out there for some reason, you can do all that too. So it's really super adjustable. And then we buy little gel pads. Just buy them on Amazon and put them on. These are made by...
I'll make them down.
I can't read it anymore. It's been rubbed off.
I'll make them down.
Yeah, and then these arm things, they tend to crack over time. Like this has come apart, unfortunately. And Anna's not a real heavy girl, so I can imagine somebody that was over 100 pounds kind of cracking through these pretty easily if you put a lot of weight on them. Huh? Yeah. So these don't last forever, but they've lasted pretty well. They generally last a couple of years, depending on how much you use them. And then the nice part about this walker is it folds down really well. So you just push in these little dots, and then you can lock it down. And it fits pretty well. I can get that in the back seat of a car or in our trunk or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty good. Anything else I missed?
But you handed it into a Mustang.
No Mustangs. Doesn't fit.
I know my hand-drive one.
Yep. What else did we miss on that? Anything? I think generally the walker's wonderful. If you're able to use a walker, it's great, just because it keeps weight bearing on your bones, which is good for your bones, and it gives you exercise. For those who can't do a walker, there are other things you can do. Obviously, we probably know some of those just to keep motion, and we'll talk about the stander in a minute, which is next,
Yeah.
which is great for people that can't do these kind of motions because
it's
helpful to keep the bones strong.
Yeah, and I go on more walk in my walk. So the minimally not I found where I can't do more.
If you're motivated.
If I'm
Like shopping.
Well, I do go
Starbucks.
on the outdoor walk.
Yeah, walking club. Yeah, that's awesome.
Walking club and walk during the week and all that. If you follow me on TikTok, you would know. If you don't, what are you doing? It's DP my dancer. Alright, so the next thing is my standard.
Alright, cool transition.
No! Alright, so now I'm in my evil handing game at people for it. So yeah, I'm at
Oh, wait, gotta let Winnie in. Come on, Winnie.
people here.
Oh, Winnie, you're getting hot out there. Come on in. Okay. So, come on up, Winnie. Yep, join the fun. There she is. Yeah, so the stander I mentioned before, I think, is really if you're regardless of your abilities, if your doctor says it's a good thing and it's possible for you to do it, the stander is a wonderful way to keep weight bearing on your bones, because bones, to be healthy, the more time they can have, to a point, the more time they can have where there's weight bearing on them, it helps keep the bone density. So it's good for your bones if you can get into a standing position. Even if you can't walk, it's a good thing to be in that standing position for your bones and your orthopedics. So the stander is really good for Anna, because it's hard, practically speaking, to walk a lot during the day. So we always go for one long walk during the day, hopefully two. But if you can do anything for Anna, I think the doctor recommended 2 to 3 hours a day in the stander. I think it's probably different for a lot of different people depending on your issues. So the stander's cool. So she just gets in a sitting position, and this tray comes out, and that's how she gets out. So we put the tray down, and then this lever gets her into the standing position.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be able to do that on my own.
Ooh, really?
But yeah, but it's on the wrong side of me.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can, and they told me they couldn't move it.
Mm-hmm. I think we can move it. I just realized that. You never asked, but I could.
They said we couldn't.
I think they're wrong. It looks like it's got the fitting, so we probably could do that. And then you can adjust the arm lever up, so you could do it yourself. Maybe.
Somebody, one of the reasons I like the stand to remember is because I was able to do it by myself.
Oh yeah, you could show them how you take it down.
I'm mean into it.
There it goes. Slowly comes down, all by itself.
And another thing about the nice thing about Hannah is I can use both arms without falling over.
Yeah, it's really stable. This thing is huge. It's heavy. I don't know how much it weighs. It probably weighs over 100 pounds. So it's super steady.
Yeah.
It's got locks on the wheels,
Yeah.
so it's really a safe place you can be.
Right.
And the tray's got room for doing computer or whatever.
The other thing when I'm cooking, if you see my cooking video, I even put it up and I go directly to the stove top.
To the counter or the
Yeah.
stove top, whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
And they also have motorized ones. I saw that at my ability expo.
That looked cool. I've never
That's
seen that.
pretty fun.
Anna just saw that for the first time. A mode where you can control it and move around like a motorized wheelchair, but you're standing, so which is
Right.
really neat.
So I'll make that video down below.
Yeah.
But that's the channel.
Yeah. The only other thing is I know that once you're in the standing position, it also helps because it straightens out because it holds your knees in a almost straight position, and that helps the hamstring stretch, which is really good for your back and good for your orthopedics. So it keeps you, not only stretches this, but keeps all the weight bearing on your bones. It's just a good thing to do if your doctor says it's okay and it's the right thing to do. It's good to have some time where your body's upright.
Right.
Yep.
About the channel. That's about it for the channel. Now we're going to move on one of my favorite things, and it's not because my back had repaired it. Oh, wait, it is. So, thank you, Nick, if you're watching this.
Thank you, Nick.
You probably all watching this. But I'm going to show you my adaptive bike.
Next.
Now we're on my Riften adaptive bike
Riften.
with 1970s, correct? Yell at me later on this, don't feel it, this is on 1970s banana bike handle. The reason that I talk about the handlebar, how when you have an adaptive bike, there are multiple different handlebars. There's one that you can put both hands and here with one hand if you can't use the other one. Or there's one with two handlebars with like this, which I used to have, but then I got too tall and the bike on my foot. $700?
They're expensive. No, they're more than that. They're a lot. Yeah.
More than that.
We bought this one we found it on Craigslist, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so always look on Craigslist, eBay. You never know what you're going to find. We found this locally, just total luck. And we've had to adapt it and have her friend Nick work on the handlebars, and I worked on the seat a little bit to get it to grow with her. But they're expensive. They're a fantastic product, though. They're worth it, and if you can get insurance to pay for it, that's all the better. But sometimes that's not so easy.
Yeah, and they were out in half a day, but they were filming the video. I am dying. I'm writing it.
Boy, that's a good joke.
But I might be dead. Alright, Dad, you want to talk about the benefits?
Sure, yeah. So this bike, and it's got a lot of cool features. It's got a lock, so you can if you're on hills or something like that.
The only problem with it is
Oh, what?
if you're like me, you can't reach that.
Yeah, it's hard. Anna can't reach it and unlock it, so I have to do it. So that's not ideal, but it's good to have it. And the feet, there are a lot of attachments you can get for it. There's something that will hold if you don't have trunk stability. There's things that'll hold you kind of on the left and the right to keep you upright. We've taken them off with Anna. She's kind of somewhere in between that, but yeah.
They're on hip adductor.
Hip adductors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't come with the bike. You better order them.
That's an extra thing, yeah, and it just attaches on. And then there's a handle back here that I can hold if we're going down hills to keep her from flying, Although it's tempting sometimes just to let her go and see what happens, but
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. And it's all adjustable in terms of height and seat.
Two seat belts.
Yep, there's a hip seat belt, and then there's a chest up here which will hold if you need that stability. You can tighten that up so you're not rocking back and forth or too far forward. There's a little storage thing back here which is cool.
So I can go to the coffee shop and buy my coffee and get it away.
There you go. And then the other fun thing that we got with it was this, which is it turns it into a stationary bike. So you put this on the ground and then just lift the rear axle into these slots, and you can just pedal it inside.
You need a Peloton when you
That's right. So that's pretty cool. That's great for winter, especially if you live in somewhere where there's winter. But bicycling's great exercise. She's had a blast with it, and we have fun. We ride to the coffee shop or ride around.
Quarantine that all my friends and I did.
Yep.
I probably damn I made you die on a really hard day.
Pushing up hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this has been an awesome device. It's great. She's really kind of outgrown it a little bit, so we're probably should get another one. So we might be talking to insurance and see if that's possible. But Yeah.
No.
Sentimental value in the handlebars. And on the subject of insurance, we have a friend for years named shout out
Mario he had a video on my channel.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Down
Mario
here,
Pinsky.
right there.
Yeah, he calls it St. Louis Advocate, and he helps people find funding for both from insurance, governmental organizations, not-for-profits. He just knows that whole world really well. I know he knows everything about the Missouri laws and things. He probably works out of the state too, but if you're in this area at all in St. Louis, highly recommend Larry Opinski. He's been so helpful to us on a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll probably call him and ask him how the heck we can get a new bike for Anna.
Yeah, and I'll probably, Millie, you're not, then I promise I'll text you.
Okay, that's all I can think of on the bike. You good?
Yeah.
And the horn.